to bring in on this broadcast a consulting editor, Rajdeep Sardesai, for his view on what he thought of Rahul Gandhi's speech. Rajdeep, good evening. A few days ago, when we spoke about Rahul Gandhi being made the leader of opposition, you said that Rahul, in his speeches, should be better prepared, should be filled with data, and, of course, shouldn't be extempore. Did you think all of that was delivered in his first speech?
You know, I still believe that Rahul Gandhi, his style of speaking tends to be spontaneous, which is his strength, but then also becomes his weakness. Because if you don't come with a prepared speech, then there's a sense that one point doesn't necessarily lead to the other. It gives him the opportunity to connect not so much with the opposition but with the viewers out there. You know, he comes across as someone who's carefree, who's fearless, and is willing to take the battle into the enemy camp. Now that's his strength. And you saw that in that exchange. He was ready to hit the opposition if necessary below the belt. But when it comes then to specific data points, for example, if he's going to speak on unemployment or he's going to speak on Agnipath, he gives personal examples, which is again possibly his strength. But it is not necessarily backed up by hard data. So then it gives the other side a chance in a debate to suggest that Rahul Gandhi has come unprepared to the debate. But I think overall, let's be honest, I think Rahul Gandhi came into this debate to make a political point that he is the leader of the opposition who's not going to be afraid of the other side. Unafraid. I think if there is one word to describe the strength of this speech, it is that he is completely unafraid. The weakness, as I said, could be, you could argue that at times he seems to come across as unprepared. So unafraid but unprepared is the way I would put it. But he's come with the momentum of the Congress getting now 99 seats, almost twice as much as they got last time when everyone was writing them off. And he's trying to carry that momentum by directly targeting Prime Minister Modi. I think that's the other key point. In every sense, he was directly attacking the individual called Narendra Modi and thereby sending out a message, I think, to the opposition, Daro mat.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned that point about whether he is underprepared really with regards to the data points, because that's what the BJP is saying. But Rajdeep, looking overall at the impact the speech has had, the opposition would be happy with that. You know, he's made headlines. He's triggered a reaction from the BJP. He got the Prime Minister to stand up and counter him immediately on some of those issues. Amit Shah was countering him. Rajnath Singh was countering him. So he's kind of started off with a bang.
Oh, absolutely. I think if the intention was to galvanize the opposition ranks or to let the country know that opposition zinda hai, I think he's been able to achieve that. I think the idea was to send out a message to the government, to the treasury benches and the country at large that this is not 2019, this is not 2014. We now have a large opposition, an opposition whose strength in numbers means it has a voice, and we will make ourselves heard. I mean, he was taking the battle even at some level into Om Birla, the Lok Sabha Speaker's chair, virtually suggesting that the Speaker was not neutral, was almost beholden to the government, was bowing before Prime Minister Modi, which he should not. So you got a sense that here was Rahul Gandhi giving the opposition a template, which could well be that template for the next 5 years. We are going to hit you as hard as we are hit. We've been hit for the last 10 years. Now it's our turn. In that sense, remember, a parliament is often made on how strong the opposition is, not how strong the government is. The government will do what the President's address did, recite all the good things. It's the opposition which has to show that the glass is half empty. To that extent, you could argue Rahul Gandhi's mission, first day mission or first speech mission has to some extent been served.
Rajdeep, just one final question before I let you go. You know, he raised a number of issues in his 101-minute speech. NEET, Agnipath, unemployment, price rise. Which point did you think he had the most clarity of thought over, Rajdeep?
You know, I've always believed that when Rahul Gandhi speaks about issues like unemployment, speaks about issues that concern common people, he comes across as earnest. When he speaks about something that you could argue is much more political, which requires, as I said, data, which requires in-depth knowledge, you could argue that Rahul Gandhi doesn't come across so strongly. When he speaks about the fact that he's been to Manipur, met people in relief camps, Prime Minister hasn't been there even once. I think it comes across more effectively. When he enters that terrain of religion and speaks of so-called Hindus, it's a dangerous terrain to enter, but I can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, you have no takedari in a way or monopoly over what is Hinduism. And I think that was one point he was trying to make. But the moment you play on that pitch, you can expect the BJP to respond. So I would have thought that Rahul Gandhi is at strongest when he speaks about unemployment, when he speaks about people's issues. When he gets into the religious politics debate, then you're giving a window or an opening to the BJP to strike back.
Which is what's happening right now, because the BJP has referred to the word that is used of violent Hindus to lash out at him. Rajdeep, thank you very much for joining us here on 6 p.m. Prime with your perspective.
We must be fair to Rahul Gandhi.
Yeah, go ahead.
We must be fair. He said so-called Hindus.
So-called Hindus. Yeah, he said so-called Hindus, but the BJP is saying that you say violent Hindus. So that's where really the problem has emerged for Rahul Gandhi. And so that's where I think what you said also about him having to tread carefully on these issues perhaps is something that the opposition will also choose to look into. Thanks very much, Rajdeep, for joining us with your perspective on this.